Hi, hello, this is my first video in this community. So I'm here to do a review of my favorite book of 2017, and that is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I would give this a strong 8.5 out of 10. There's this girl, Marin. She is living alone in the city because her grandfather died, which is the person she lived with. She goes to college alone and she lives there. And she basically isolates herself from all her old childhood friends, all the people that she lived with, because her mother was quite famous, so a lot of people know her as because of her mother. The writing in this is phenomenal. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. I think that from here it might be a little bit spoilish. I don't know how to say words. Her old childhood friend, in which she had a crush, comes to visit her. She was her best friend. And she ignored a bunch of her messages, her calls, and a bunch of things. So they haven't really talked in a long while. And Mabel didn't understood why she just disappeared. And yeah, she travels from her hometown to, I think it's New York. Discover a lot of things about her grandfather, and it talks about really deep things. It talks about loss. It talks about love. It talks about love in places you wouldn't expect them to be. It talks about the way that certain people show their love, and it isn't exactly the best. For example, relationship between Marin and her grandfather is kind of weird because her mother died. Her father left them when her mother was pregnant. She lives with her grandfather, and they are very separated in a way that they don't talk a lot. They very much stay in their own rooms and their places, and they don't ever go into the other person's room. The grandfather is always receiving letters from Birdie, this woman, that he never really explained who she was. And later in the book, spoilers, she finds out that there is no Birdie, that Birdie was kind of her mother, like the things that she sent him were from her mother and stuff, and he created Birdie because he was lonely. And there's this line that said, he didn't have to be lonely, I was lonely. And that really spoke to me. I think that this book was really the book I was needing last year because it was a very difficult year for me. But no book is completely amazing or completely horrible, so there were some parts that I didn't really like. For me, it talks a lot about depression and stuff and how the main character feels lost because she pretty much lost everything. There is a romanticization, that's a very difficult word to say, of her depression in some parts that I really wasn't fond of. Yeah, that kind of made me feel a little bit mad. Mabel is Marin's love interest, and it talks about sexuality and discovering your sexuality. I think that when I see a lot of people talk about this book, they tend to focus a lot in their relationship. And here's the thing, it's definitely a part of the book, it's definitely an important part of the book, but I think that they're missing the big picture. For me, the whole idea of the book was Marin is never going back to be the jolly and happy person she was before her grandfather died. But that's okay, because she can stop focusing on the past and stop obsessing over the past and realize that she can just focus on the now or the future, that she can create a new her, if that makes any sense. And I think that people were focusing a lot on just their relationship just because it's a lesbian relationship, and I was like, okay, that's a part of the story, but there's so much more to the story. There's so much more to the characters. There's just so much more that I felt it really needs to be talked about. It's a fucking great book. I love this book. It is my favorite book. When you love a book so much, you actually have a poster. I highly recommend this book. It is very amazing. Very beautiful.